Am I the asshole for potentially ruining my brother and sister-in-law financially? My brother and sister-in-law recently had a child together, which is awesome, but I also found out they actually don't pay rent to our mom. They are staying in her old house. She wanted to downsize and move back home for better weather. Things have been tight for her, so I help her out. I thought they were paying the property taxes and general upkeep of the house. Turns out they do not even pay her rent. Apparently they are also struggling, which I understand since they live in NY. Cost of living can be nutty. What got me was when my mom told me my sister-in-law made the choice to not go back to work, which is confusing since she made more than my brother. She wants to stay home with their kid, fair, but on my brother's income they cannot afford to pay any rent or housing expenses. Mom wants to make me responsible for her finances. She essentially does not want to worry about bills and stuff going forward, which I don't have a problem with, just the expenses on her old house are adding up. She finished the basement for them to give them more space. She also pays their car payment, phone, internet, and SPAS. If I was not helping her, she would be homeless. I told her we need to change up this agreement because she cannot sustain it. Pretty much told me I can handle it however I see fit, which is annoying, but it is what it is. So I did have a talk with my brother and it did not go well. More or less told him things are going to change. Mom will not be subsidized their lifestyle. I acknowledge they want a parent to stay with their kid, so I asked why doesn't he stay home and she goes back to work. To put into perspective, she was a nurse and he is a teacher. She made much more than him. He said she wants to be home. I said I get it, but they cannot afford to do that. He said yes they could. I told him no they cannot. Only reason they are making it work is because mom is covering majority of their expenses and they are not paying rent. He is upset because he feels mom should tell him this. I told him mom said I could handle it. I don't want to be the bad guy, but mom cannot sustain this. She is barely getting by. I went on and nothing has changed. So last month I told him that starting in April mom was going cut back on stuff. I have to figure out what to do with the car since it is in our mom's name. Possibly we'll sell it, then pay the rest off if we cannot sell it at a high enough price to wipe out the financed amount. Told him we are canceling the internet, phone, and SPAS. As for rent, I have been looking how to legally make tenants with a proper lease. Speaking with a landlord and tenant attorney. My brother and sister-in-law are miffed because they feel I am being petty and overzealous with how far I am going, claiming I am willing to make my niece homeless. Not my intent, but they cannot keep abusing our mom like they have. She's going to be 68. She worked her ass off over the years. She has no reason to struggling when she worked as hard as she did. Only reason she is struggling is because majority of her money goes to them. They claim she wanted to do this and I somehow have convinced her otherwise. My mom is a chronic people pleaser and knows she would never tell them no, cause they know exactly how to get her to cave. My sister-in-law thinks I am being also a prick because I suggested she goes back to work, implying I am telling them how to parent. Here I am guessed to vent and see maybe I am being overly harsh because I don't know what it is like to raise a family.